Hello again. Good morning. My name is Gabe Zollner. You might have noticed that I've got my backdrop in place, and that's the American flag. You might also notice that it's upside down. And the reason that's upside down, if you're at all interested, is I made a couple of videos, I guess earlier on this week, that talks about exactly why it's upside down. Hopefully you'll do a little search and find that video, and if you have a flag, you'll turn it upside down as well, if you feel the need to, as I have. In either case, I also did a little research this morning, and I spoke about what I learned in regards to slavery. And then I did another little search on the definition of blackmail. Wonder why I would have thought of doing it on blackmail. Maybe you'll understand after I provide you with a couple of the definitions. Blackmail, that's the crime involving a threat for the purpose of compelling a person to do an act against his or her will. Okay, let me repeat that. That's the crime involving a threat for the purpose of compelling a person to do an act against his or her will. Another definition. Blackmail refers to a situation that arises when a person threatens another person with some form of punishment if they do not offer some form of concession. Does that sound at all familiar? Well, if you think back when the stimulus was first brought up as an issue, we were told that if we didn't do what they, being the government, wanted us to do, then a lot of bad things would happen. That's how the stimulus got passed. What about the bailout of the banks and the auto industry? Well, we were told that if we didn't do this, then bad things would again happen. That's interesting. What about the fiscal cliff? Well, we were told by the government that if the House wouldn't agree to certain concessions, like taxing the heck out of pretty much everybody, then certain bad things will happen. That's interesting, isn't it? You know, when you stop to think about it, we have been blackmailed from the get-go, haven't we? You remember when they were trying to push health care down our throat? You know, the Obamacare? Yeah, I think it was just before Christmas a couple of years ago. And they said that nobody's going to have Christmas unless they get this thing done. Well, now we're a few days away from New Year. And we're still being threatened by the administration. Obama, he even flew back in Air Force One. He left his wife and his dog, Bo, and his 2 kids in Hawaii so he could be in Washington. I guess he's expecting the speaker, you know, John Boehner, to roll over and give him everything he wants. Because if we don't, bad things will happen. Well, let me tell you what the real end game here is. The real end game here is to destroy the Republican Party. Completely devastated. If John Boehner does not agree to give in on the concessions, and if the country does go over the fiscal cliff, which I hope that it will, within a couple of weeks, I think Obama is going to be up on the stage, his sleeves all rolled up, and he's going to push everything back to the way it was. Yeah, he's going to say, you know what? The Republicans don't care about this country because they allowed it to go over the fiscal cliff, but I do care. And I am your president. And I will revert everything back to the Bush tax cuts. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. How come he didn't do anything like that when, you know, the Americans were begging for support over in, you know, Libya? Benghazi, I mean, he didn't do anything. I mean, he didn't, well, he might have had his sleeves rolled up. I don't know, because I didn't see what was going on in the Situation Room as he's watching everything unfold. But you know what? The sad thing is, bad things do happen. And this government has a way of forcing the people against their will. Now he's got Joe Biden putting together whatever he's going to put together to try to take away our Second Amendment rights. And again, they're blaming it on bad things. If we don't do this, then bad things will happen. If we don't take away all ARs and high-capacity magazines, bad things will happen. Well, why don't you ask your Secret Service to give up their fully automatic weapons? Why is it that your life is more important than my life? Why? There's no reason for it. We only have one life. Each one of our lives are sacred. I don't think that Bloomberg should be able to have armored protection, and I can't. Well, yeah, he can afford to do it, but I can't afford to do it, but I can't afford to defend my own life. And American citizens have that right under the Constitution. You ever wonder why Obama studied constitutional law? I've said this on a couple of other videos. The only way you can disassemble something is if you know how it was put together. Otherwise, you can't disassemble it. That, my friends, is why the Ayers family steered Obama in that direction. They needed to have him have a sound understanding of how to do exactly what he's doing. He's disassembling the Constitution right before our very own eyes. Anyway, if you have nothing to do, get up on the computer, Google blackmail. Pretty interesting, isn't it? We're living a horror show. And unless somebody changes the channel, there's nothing to look forward to in this country.